So I'm just about to start organising my craft room, and I just thought I would show you guys what the before is and talk a bit about this room. So this is actually the front door here. And as you walk in, this is like, it's supposed to be a dining room, really. But we don't use it as a dining room, we use it as a craft room. Well, I do. My partner does like crafts and does bits of painting and things like that, so it is kind of a shared space, but majority of the stuff is probably mine. So on these shelves, these are 2 shelf units that I got last year or the year before. The year before, I think. And basically they are just joined together, and I keep most of my yarns and bits and bobs, so like stuff for bag making and things like that on there. I'm sorry if you can hear the budgies. I did move them into the other room, but they seem to want to be heard in the singing. So that's that situation, which doesn't look too bad, but it's all got to come off and be cleaned and put back and whatnot. Then over here I've got a little table which is used as my desk. So if I use my sewing machine or anything, it goes onto this, because this kind of lifts out. The table lifts out either side to make more room for sewing. My coat and everything's in here. It's supposed to be upstairs. Over here is a little dresser. I did start this last night. So this frame is where the budgies hang. So this is a dresser, and in here I organised this, believe it or not. So we've got paints, we've got pens, we've got brushes, anything, there's clay, there's all that kind of stuff in this drawer. Then on here I've got, so at the top I've got old hooks, needles for crochet. Do you know some crochet hooks, needles for knitting? I've got pens, just old random pens in there. Then down here I've got just like odd bits for sewing, so like English paper piecing. These are the cheap ones that just come in like sets, so I'd probably use them for just hand sewing stuff. And here I've got buttons and beads. So buttons and then some buttons and some beads, just randomly in there. Then I've got buttons. That was when I was doing the diamond art, but I don't really do that. Eyes and noses, safety eyes and things for amigurumis. So in here, that's empty, so that's good. Them are both empty, so I can use them for something. And here I've got clips for sewing. And then I can't remember what they're called. What are they called? Safety pins. And then on this side I've got some dowels, which is to my my blocking board for my crochet items, so like granny squares and stuff, and then just random bits in there. I've got a little look up there. I've just got a mess on here. I've got budgie food there. Then if we go over this side, I've got a little table there with lots of junk on at the minute, and then one of my plants. This bag is my sewing machine. It's just chaos. And then the craft cart has got current projects on and like things that I need for the projects I'm currently working on. So like all yarn quantities, things like that are on here. My knitting circulars, my crochet hooks are on there. English paper piecing is in this one, the current one that I'm doing. Then I've just got bags of stuff. So this bag I have like fine cotton thread for crochet, so like lace weight, so to make earrings and things like that. Not currently yet done, but it's there ready and waiting. Then just over there I've got a load of books and some binders. These binders with my nans, and then yeah, sewing books, crochet books, knitting books, needlework books, all that kind of thing. Then up there I've got magazines and like easy reading books, so books that I like to read in the evening before bed. Then I've got this chair and crochet blanket on. That's my current long-term crochet blanket. That'll just stay there. I've got embroidery in there, I've got yarn in there, I've got my cotton yarn in there, another cross stitch, and some old projects like crochet things that I started that need really ripping out and putting away. Buttons, then this, and here there's some things I've made, so like little things, I think. Can find any? I can't. Just some safety eyes. Some googly eyes, sorry. In there's just some like little crochet flowers, and jellyfish, key rings, things like that are in there. Then over this side is mostly sewing, so I've got sewing patterns in here. I've got my crochet knitting book, my quilting book, and there's some scrunchies that have all been sewn. I just need to sew up the middle to stop them from falling to bits. This was something I did a few weeks ago. It's supposed to be like a mushroom man. I need to paint it and then glue the top on. Then in these boxes is just fabrics. So some are quite big quantities, some are just little scrap quantities for English paper piecing. Then I've got in here is all like my pinky scissors and tape measure and rotary cutter, things like that in there. So the idea for this space, when I first got the space and organised the space, it didn't look like this at all. If you've got Instagram and you see me on Instagram, then you can see how different this room looks. It looked very put together when I first did it, and the units, so there's 2 units here. One of these units was on this wall here, so it was just like a middle, but I found it's better to have that there, because we're at the front of the house and it's quite cool. So this being here blocks the draft from the door and it's just more cozy. So I'm just gonna start and organize stuff, and we'll see how we get on and how long it actually takes me to figure out what I want to do and sort out. It's quite overwhelming, really. But yeah, I'll get back to you when I have started to make a difference or a change. Bye. So now a quick update on what I've done so far. I've just sorted out the yarns a little bit. They were fine as they were, really, but I've just made a little bit more room and reorganized them. So these are like the big balls of yarn that I've got. There's some little, there's these kind of like ribbon yarn things that I could always use to make jewellery, or I could put in blankets or use that kind of way. There's some chunky yarn, there's some packs of yarn. These are my two favourite new ones that are future projects. That one's definitely going to be a knit one. I'm not too sure on that one. That might be crochet. I've got my thick, some stuff needs frogging and putting back. My thick chenille yarn for amigurumis. And down here, this is all my cotton yarns for making bags or amigurumi sometimes. And there is my steamer and my wool winder, and then there's just a blanket on top. And here, that's all that crochet thread for jewellery, and then pom-pom makers, some macrame cords, a cross stitch and bits and bobs in there. I've got my friend's crochet kit that I haven't done yet. Then with some diamond art things. So these are the scrunchies that I've made that I just need to sew up. So they're in there, so to remind me that's what I need to do. Then down here is my cross stitch, my flower cross stitch. Then all like bag handles and bits and bobs. There's some bags that I've made that just need the snaps putting on. Embroidery hoops and bits and bobs in there. This is all like bias binding, ribbon, that kind of stuff, like bag handle things to make out of, buttons, stitch markers, bits and bobs in them. And here is candle making stuff, so there's paper in there, there's some dies and stuff in there. Then over here I've got, that's a wood burning, my partner's wood burning stuff's in that one. Ignore the boots there. That's parcel stuff, so just bits of stuff that I use for packing stuff, for Vinted or whatever I do. These I use for blocking, so that's a yoga mat. But if I have like a large garment thing or a blanket, I'll pin it on that. Or then I'll use these that just slot together. So moving up again. This is just some bits of yarn that needs frogging. That was going to be a shawl. I can't really remember what hook or anything I used, so that'll probably be wound back up. But I've got 2 balls of this yarn. So yeah, I think it's something to do with that. Then in here, this is all like stuff that I've made. So there's just little jellyfish keyring things, little flower, and some wiggly worms, that kind of stuff is in there. Keep that over the top. That was going to be like a cushion, but I can't remember what pattern it was. So the next shelf is like greys, browns, blacks. Top is whites, sparkly and matte kind of colours, beiges, tan colours, pinks, yellows, bright variegated yarns. Then over there is orange, purples, greens and blues. And that's how that's looking at the minute. So then if we go around here, that's still a big mess. I've brought this shelving in here because I think it's a bit more useful than the little table. So I've put some of my books there and some of my binders, and that is still pretty much the same. I'm just working on this bit here. I've put my books, the craft books that are in there, and in that one is I've put crochet hooks, circular needles, my craft diary, some notebooks, my almanac for this year, down there, magazines, lots of crochet magazines, down there there's some books. I think that's the Poldark series that I haven't even looked at yet. But yeah, then and these is just rubbish really, because this is where the meters are. So them are just Christmas craft bits that I've got that are still down. This is all my stuffing for my toy stuffing stuff. That's just in there. Then on here I'm putting these on here, and I've got another one there to go in that box there. But yeah, it's still looking very messy, but we're getting there. I'll show you again, hopefully this time when it's all done. Let's hope it doesn't take me too long. So now this is the finished craft room. The budget's back in here. I've turned the desk so it's the other way. So yes, there's that's Ziggy and that's Zebedee. That's all tidy and organised. Drawers are all tidy and organised. The desk area, ignore the bags underneath. I brought this in, put some plants, books, some yarn. That's been organised, so that's just current things I'm working on. That needs frogging, what's in that bag, that needs ripping out and winding. So here I've got fabrics in these three. You'll have to ignore the budgies. All patterns. Both my sewing boxes are up here now, but I have got a project in there, English paper piecing, and this is looking a lot more neat and tidy. And then down here, this bag has just got some old things I was working on that I don't know what to do with just yet, so I'm going to go through them and have a look at what I need to sort out. That's a finished object for the next podcast. My sewing machine's behind there now. There's another long-term project there. That's all organised. And these two, I think I'm going to frog that one in that basket as well, but that's a long-term project that just sits there. So it's looking a bit better. The budgies seem happy. So yes. So what do we think? Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you soon with a podcast. Bye.